Hello everyone, welcome to this week's Gran Turismo 7 Daily Race and Strategy Guide as Group 4 machinery visits Spa Francorchamps 24-hour layout. Now I say it's a race and strategy guide, it's a little bit misleading. It's more, let's just call it a race preview for this week's Daily Race because there's not really a lot of strategy or guidance that I can give you for this one. The reason for that being, it is 8 laps of Spa Francorchamps 24-hour, tyre at times 1, fuel at times 1, we have the racing hard tyres, intermediates and wets available. There's no mandatory rules in terms of pit stops or tyres. BOP is on, damage is light, it's a rolling start and slipstream is real. And as I said, there's not really a whole lot of strategy or guidance I can give you for this one. There is the added caveat that there is a strong possibility that this race is very closely going to follow the format of the Group 4 race at Le Mans. Maybe about, 8, 9, 10 weeks ago, where we had dynamic random weather. The majority of those races were dry, but on occasion the rain could come in really heavy, or you just get a little smattering of rain. But maybe about 2 out of every 10 races were affected by the dynamic weather and a little bit of rain coming in, and there is a strong suspicion that this race is going to follow a similar format, or at the very least that wet weather will play a part. The reason for that being is that Nenkai, the chap on Twitter who reveals the daily race details for most people, do check out his Twitter if you want to get the information for the daily races nice and early. Usually releases them on about mid to Friday. He has specifically said that there's a setting in there that makes him really strongly suspect that the wet tyres or the intermediate tyres are going to be required. We did some open lobbies of this race on the Sunday night. I tried to set it up with some dynamic weather. For whatever reason, the 3 races we did, the weather didn't come in. But it's around about a 20-minute race, so a decent length of a daily race C if nothing else. What else could I pass on to you? Yes, the pit stop for this one. If there does happen to be some inclement weather on the horizon, it's really going to have to come down cats and dogs and force you onto the intermediate or the wet tyres to make you take around about a 40 to 42 second loss on the pit stop. So yeah, really it's going to have to be aquaplaning conditions for the hard tyres, and it's going to have to give you maybe at least 2 laps worth of that to make it worth your while to come in to make that pit stop. But yeah, it remains a bit of an unknown, this one. It should be reasonably good fun. I was quite surprised by just how much the handling of the Group 4 cars have changed since the update. There seemed to be a kind of vagueness to the handling, maybe even a kind of floatiness to the front end, and I actually felt them a little bit more tricky, a little bit more likely to spin them out than the Group 3 cars at the moment. So a little bit of maybe getting used to that for me. I tried the McLaren, I tried the Honda NSX and I tried the Jaguar. Out of all 3 of those cars I tried, the NSX actually put in the fastest lap, but the Jaguar did feel like the best car to drive out of the 3 of them. In terms of what car is going to be competitive around here, there is strong talk about the Nissan Silvia being very strong, also the Nissan GTR. I've heard people mention the Ferrari being very good as well. The Ferrari did look pretty good in the hands of the drivers that had it in our lobbies. So, as I said earlier on, lots of unknowns in this one. We don't know what the weather's going to do, we don't know what's going to be the meta car, and yeah, there's just wait and see what happens with this one. As I said, more of a race preview rather than a guide, but let's actually make a little bit of effort to turn it into a guide and finish off the video with a lap of Spa in the Honda NSX. We're coming down to La Source. You're looking for the 100-metre board all the way over to the left hand side, get it in nice and tight to that curb there, and the earlier you get on the throttle out of here is going to be of vital importance to your lap time. We're heading down to Eau Rouge and Radion, up over the hill and on to the Kemmel Straight. Now this is full throttle, but I wouldn't say it's an easy full throttle. Make sure you've got the car positioned over to the left hand side at the bottom of the hill to give you the best run up through the curve, and then be very careful of course of the curb on the exit, as you can easily pick up a half-second penalty. Down the cable straight to Les Combes, you're looking for the 100 metre board, maybe just after the 100 metre board. It's all about getting the best line through this corner section here. We don't do that at all. We went in too deep into the first part, compromised us for the second part, and you kind of carry that compromise all the way through to the third part as well if you don't get the first part right. Down the hill into a Ravage, I do believe it's called. I think it's also got another name, Bruxelles. You're looking for the curb on the left hand side as your braking reference for that. Into No Name corner, or I believe it might be called Jackie Ink's corner now. Very tricky corner. There's not really a kind of obvious braking marker for that one, I must say. And down in towards Pouon, you're looking for the 50 metre board. I think you can brake just after it. Very fast double left hand corner, invites you in, very easy on the throttle, just a little bit early and then run wide, and you will be in big trouble if you do that. Into Capsa, maybe this one's called. You're looking for the start of the curb on the left hand side. Again, very like Les Combes, it's all about getting the line right through here. Line of least resistance, getting on the throttle nice and early. Into Stavelot 1, start of the curb. Quite a hard corner to get the car into the apex there, just seems to naturally understeer. Into Stavelot 2, it is actually full throttle in the Group 4 cars. Again, not an easy full throttle. Make sure you have the line right for it, or you can run wide. You'll hit the AstroTurf kind of stuff on the outside, and it can usually or very often lead to disaster. Into Blanchimont now, slight lift required here. Again, get the line right and you'll carry a lot more speed through there. I couldn't get through there full throttle, maybe some people can. And it's just after the 150 metre board as we break down to the final chicane. MR cars do feel quite tricky through here. Even the Jaguar felt very tricky through there as well. Again, Group 4 cars just feeling a little bit looser than I was expecting them to be. Over the start finish line we come for a 2 minutes 30.612. Certainly not the fastest lap you're going to see this week, but hopefully helpful or useful in some way, shape or form. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. It's a little bit of an unknown, so we're going to be on nice and early in the morning, streaming this one, seeing what it's all about, seeing what that weather's going to do. Hopefully it's a bit like Le Mans, we've got a bit of dynamic weather in there. It's a little bit random. Sometimes it's dry, sometimes it's wet, sometimes it's chaos. Whatever it is, we'll make the most of it, we'll have some fun. Do join me for some live streams, as I said. Thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Goodbye now.